So, Mary, the train's passed and we can continue.
Yeah.
So, you joined the Baha'is and you found it stimulating and interesting.
Yeah.
How would you see the development of them since you joined? When did you join exactly?
I've been a Baha'i for about 40 years.
40 years,
I joined in 1983, 84. So I think I was influenced by the way that politics was very divisive back then. You had the breakup of the left, which for me was quite traumatic. So I was influenced by that. I was looking at the time for something that was uniting. And
Were you, at that time, were you pro-Marxist? Or, could you have Marxist sympathies?
No, I never was. I never was a Marxist. I think I was always middle of the road with all that. And what was interesting is that the Baha'i faith was able to give some coherence to that because they have a list of principles.
Yes.
Not just the unity of God and the unity of mankind and the unity of religion, but also a set of principles to do with, for example, the abolition of the excess of wealth and poverty to equalise things up, and then also the equality of men and women. So I found, and independent investigation of truth.
The independent investigation
Very
of
much
truth,
into freedom of thought. So I was looking for something that was going to unite all the things that I found that were disparate and disuniting. And I think at the time, for me, I found that answer. But what never sat well with me, and it still doesn't to this day, and I think a lot of religious people find the same thing, because they want to change the world, they want to make alleviate suffering. I think that's the first thing you realise when you're young is this world is quite difficult and people suffer, and how are we going to fix that? What do we do? Particularly in Buddhism. And I just was looking for the answers to that, and the Baha'is for me at that time did, but the one thing that I found difficult is with all religions, expectation not to be involved in politics, because I still feel that if you change the structure, if you make life better for people, if they're not poor, if they have a universal education, which is another one of the Baha'i principles, things will even itself out. You will, by your own virtue of your own education, pull yourself out of the mire, as it were. So that's where I'm going with this, really, Gordon, is in that direction, which is very idealised.
Right, and do you think they've been successful up to a point, do you think? Or are they still have they still not reached a maturity of development? Are they still finding their way, making mistakes?
I think that's a good way of putting it. I think 40 years ago when I first became a Baha'i, we thought that they would have the answers, like many religions and like many groups back then. We all thought that the world was going to change if we spoke up and participated. And of course now it's clear that the problems of the world are much denser than that, that there's a bigger issue, and one of the things that we never even thought about back then, but the Baha'is had written about it, which was the ecology of the planet, that we could face a situation where the planet itself is endangered. And the Baha'is were always looking into that. For example, the man of the trees, Richard Sidbar Baker, he started the goal in the 1930s of planting millions of trees.
Yes,
and that was, his inspiration was through the Baha'i faith.
Right.
The conservation of the planet and the understanding of harmony of science and religion is very much part of it. That technology has to be addressed. You can't just have, as it said in the Bible, that we take advantage of the earth to the point where we are removing its capacity as a life ship for us.
It's interesting also that some Christians are unaware of their own tradition, but today in the church service I went to the church in Ayr, St. Columba, and we had a distinguished speaker who came, and the sermon was from Jeremiah,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
in Jeremiah, in the chapter in the Bible, Jeremiah, there's mention of farmers and traders and townspeople being the caretakers of the planet.
Yes, that's
And
what I was trying to say. Exactly
no,
right.
you said it perfectly. But it's there in the Christian tradition that we shouldn't look at the planet as a commodity and as people as commodities. And unfortunately, I think in the secular age and the scientific way of thinking, this has come in. We especially see it in the West and in the East,
Yeah.
where the value is put more on wealth, show your wealth through power,
Materialism.
materialism. I mean, that's okay up to a point, but it's become the dominant feature of the society, and it's like it cuts us away from our roots. And what, being a Baha'i myself, I joined the faith. What I felt was that sometimes there was a bit of hypocrisy creeping in. I wondered if some of the Baha'is also like to show off their wealth. Maybe that's just natural,
Well, can I ask you a question? Why have you left the Baha'i faith, or are you still
I
interested?
still have a sympathy for it because I think I do believe that Baha'u'llah had a special message, and that special message was for all mankind, not just for Iran, Persia, and the Middle East.
Yeah.
That he saw that we needed to unite the world. I think he was very far-sighted in that. And what is interesting for me in my own researches and my own experience was that Baha'u'llah had said, when asked, and this is at the end of the 19th century, so this is about 1890, 1894, about life in the universe, he said, God has made life manifest throughout the whole universe, that each star has its planets, and on these planets there are different life forms.
Yeah.
Now, here's the issue where the Baha'is have really fallen down, and I have to be really frank about this. They've not explored that topic at all. In fact, I would say they've almost covered it up. In 1992, a letter came out from the Universal House of Justice, which is now the Baha'i ruling body,
Yeah.
saying, yes, Baha'u'llah said that is correct. However, this is something for science to explore, and maybe when we're all Baha'is, we'll find out.
Yeah.
Well, then really that's not good enough, because here's a huge issue that all religions must face. I believe that because we are in danger of spoiling our own planet and ruining its resources, other species who run out of resources and perhaps live in artificial environments look on our planet as a treasure. And
So
if
you're
we
talking
don't-
about aliens?
Yes, I'm talking about ETs.
Okay.
And Baha'u'llah has said this, if we think it through. So if we can't look after it,
They'll take it.
they will take it, but they'll do it in an underhanded way.
Yeah.
So what are they going to do? Offer us technology. Oh, you can have this, or this will help you when you travel in space, or this is a better form of telecommunication, or you can download this special video on this screen, so on and so forth. So I think we're walking around being half asleep, and religions also must wake up, all the religions, not just the Baha'is, to the fact that we are in danger of losing the sovereignty of our planet. And once it's lost, you'll never get it back.
Yeah, I mean, you're echoing, I know a little bit about this, you're echoing some of the opinions of, say, for example, the scientist Greg Braden, who is saying that this could be the last generation of Homo sapien because of our interest in the use of technology to augment our brain power, and also the use of AI within knowledge systems that will then make us lose the origins of our species as being, unique and Homo sapien. and some of the things that are unique to us, like our spirituality, for
Yes,
example,
yes.
love, and our capacity for knowledge and learning and all of these things.
And I think also that our own spirituality, whether it's Christianity, Islam, Buddhism, the Baha'i faith, is important to us because it's what marks our history and our social development and our roots. We cannot adopt a space religion, or we cannot go, and I think both David Wilcock, who passed away recently,
Oh,
or
I didn't
was
know that,
he
right.
he committed suicide.
I'm sorry to
David
hear that.
Wilcock was a kind of lovely American guy, but he got into this space religion, and I
Do you
think
want
it
me to
started.
turn it on you
Sure.
because you're saying something here?
I think it got into him and confused him.
Yeah.
He talked about the law of one, and the universe is all one, and we're all going to hold hands up in the galaxy. But nature doesn't work like that. We've struggled a long way here in Scotland to establish Christianity, whether it's Catholicism or Protestantism, whatever. We have a rich tradition. We can't suddenly just let it go and embrace just New Age stuff,
Yeah.
because it's insubstantial and vague, and it lacks depth, I think, and it doesn't go to our roots. Our Celtic tradition, our Anglo-Saxon tradition is also have this strong feeling of embracing a simple life and teaching and healing and working. Maybe at this point we should